The F-plate boxcar is a prime example of modern railroading. Using more traditional 50-foot boxcar lengths, the capacity is increased by raising the roof higher through excess height. This contemporary design began rolling out in 2004, and Greenbrier has produced thousands of examples that can be seen mostly in paper service throughout North America. Aurora announced their second release of the Gunderson 6276 Plate F boxcar shortly after the arrival of the first release in June of 2023, and the car arrived in Ontario in January of 2024. This release only has two paint schemes, the TTX 2004 as delivered scheme and the TTX on track for a cure in the bright pink. The 2004 variant has 18 road numbers compared to the one pink road number for a total of 19 unique road numbers. The MSRP remains the same at $59.99. Today we'll be taking a look at F-Box 504927. This unit was specifically painted in a vibrant pink color to help raise awareness for breast cancer. Starting off on the A end of the car, towards the top of the car is going to be the excess height painting in white compared to the overall pink body color. The white portions represent the areas of excess height over the rail heads that's designated by the plate F proportions. In the center of the car is the metal grab iron. The grab iron extends from the car body with a wire loop in the middle for support. Just off to the right of the wire grab iron are the tack boards used for crewmen to post bad orders. This tack board is a separately applied plastic piece with brown accent painting to simulate wood grain. On either side of the car body are the end ladders. These separately applied half ladders are made from plastic and are painted in a bright pink color. They are attached to the ribbing on the end plates. Between the two ladders is the separately applied crossover platform. This etched metal detail is unpainted to show off the bare metal finish. The coupler cut bar is attached to a support piece off the end sill. The cut bar attaches to the underside of the coupler box. The coupler itself is the Aurora brand scale plastic coupler. This custom design is similar to size in the KD 158 and has the ribbing on the side to give a more detailed finish. One of the best details on the entire car is the trainline air hose. This separately applied plastic detail is molded in black and has silver accent painting on the glad hands and airline union. Other smaller details like the angle cock handle are also shown. The airline is molded in such a way that the glad hands sit just under the coupler, so when two Aurora boxcars are coupled together, it really gives the appearance that the airlines are connected when viewing from the side. The side of the car is really nicely detailed with a lot of smaller, very finely done details. The first of these is the side ladders located on the first panel near the end of the cars. These smaller half ladders are only about 4 rungs, just enough to allow the crew some room to ride the side of the car. The ladder is separately applied plastic detail painted to match the bright pink. The stirrups are very nicely done. They're actually metal details that have a flat bar piece folded 90 degrees, the exact same way the prototype stirrup steps are built. It's actually really great and very well done. A detail that's harder to see is the 100-ton Barber S2 trucks. These trucks run on the 36-inch metal wheels and have the rotating roller bearing caps. The truck side frames have the raised foundry lettering and good molded on spring details, as well as the road name and number printed on the sides. Similar to the car body ends, the broad side of the car offers tack boards as well. Separately applied plastic details, these offer a splash of color with the wood planks painted in a woody brown color. The doors offer some separately applied details as well. The door rods are very finely done despite the plastic material, and the door handle is similar in appearance and material. The rest of the door is painted in black but has white letter printing without any softening against the black paint. Just under the door is the retainer rod handle. This rod runs to the control valve that can be seen later on in the video. The rod is made from wire details and is very finely done. The plug door, when pulled away from the car, runs on door rails, and Aurora has replicated these well with good molded on plastic details for the railing and railing supports underneath. The 2004 yellow TTX version has some silver accent painting on these, but the pink car is just painted over the silver. The doors do have some mechanical stoppers as well to prevent the door from opening too far. Similar to the railing, these are molded onto the car body, but are very well done and have good detail levels. Another smaller molded on detail is the AEI tag. This tag is just above the right truck and below the yellow decal about the excess height. Aurora did a really good job about making all the printing and decals legible under magnification as well. The jacking pads is to the left of the AEI tag with more black printing to show off the lift and jacking points. The actual pad is reinforced with extra material, molded here with rivet details as well. The B end of the car is actually very similar to the A end with only a few minor changes. The first of these is obviously the addition of the brake wheel. The brake wheel is separately applied, also having the universal design. It's finished off with the bright pink matching the car body. The brake wheel is attached to the brake wheel housing. The housing is similar in such that it's plastic and separately applied. The housing is mounted to the two lower ribs of the car body ends and features some smaller rivet details. The brake chain extends down from the housing. The chain is very nicely detailed so the individual chains can be seen, with the interior of each link being able to be seen through. The chains run into the crossover platform, stop, and then begin again on the underside of the platform, splitting into two individual pieces. While down here, it's a good chance to check out the draft gear box. Aurora does a really good job of providing a semi-scale draft gear box that also has good molded on details, but still allows the coupler to swing and operate as designed. Overall, a great subtle detail. The top of the car is actually pretty plain with only two minor aspects to check out. The first of these is the roof style, being made from the 2004 as delivered car body. The on-track for the Cure also has the early designed roof, so all the panels are the horizontal design and feature some slight rivet details on the attached brackets between the panels. The other aspect to check out is the pink overspray. When the car was repainted, the roof was not masked off and such overspray occurred on the roof. When painting the top of the car body sides, the effect gives a nice gradient from bright pink to the metallic silver of the original roof. The gradient is very consistent and clean, superbly done. Like all Aurora produced products, the underside is absolutely jam-packed with details and really is the best aspect about this car. Throughout the entire underside is the brake linkage. This detail is very extensive despite the low body ride and how difficult it is to see the underside details. The linkage has detail parts running from the bell crank under the brake chain on the right side of the car and continues down through the various levers all the way to the left truck. The linkage details just kind of sit there under the trucks but looks very prototypical connected to the brake bracket linkage when rolling down the rails. The air system components are very finely done too. The largest of these is the air reservoir. The tank is situated at a 45-degree angle between the two support beams and has two air plumbing lines running from the sides. The control valve is just off to the right of the air reservoir and has several lines running to and from the valve. Some smaller details from the control valve are the two retainer rod handles. These rods extend to either side of the car body sides. These details are smaller than the plastic air plumbing using wire instead. The wire also loops around at the ends for the handles. Towards the center sill is the brake piston. This piston connects the air portion of the braking system to the mechanical linkage and provides the driving force for the various levers. Finally, between all the components is the brake plumbing. The plumbing looks great and separately applied. While it's made from plastic details and not wire, Aurora did a good job on this detail. With the car flipped over, we'll also check out the Aurora brand trucks to check out the integrated brake brackets to the trucks. The truck bottoms also have skid plates over the screw holes, and we can also see the 36-inch metal wheels using the RP25 contours. The yellow TTX version of the car didn't have any detail differences and was the exact same early version of the Plate F Boxcar. The only minor differences come down to the accent painting on the door rails. The roof is painted in a solid silver color and the safety striping locations. One point I do want to make is that the yellow 2004 version of the car did arrive without any printing on the car body ends. I'm sure this is just a mistake from the factory, and I've contacted Aurora and I'm just waiting for a response from them. If this video premieres before I can get a concrete result from them, I'll go ahead and leave a comment with how they responded. The car comes in at 7¼ inches long, so the NMRA recommended weight is 4.62 ounces. The measured weight was 4.32 ounces or 122 grams, so the car is 0.3 ounces to the lighter side. The couplers were compared to the Katy height gauge, and it was found that both couplers were low. All of the wheels were found to be engaged, and the car was bumped slightly to check body wobble, and the car had sufficient 3-point suspension. For the scoring section of the review, the score is based on several categories, each with its own point total, adding up to 100 possible points. The packaging on the model is similar to other Aurora brand models with the hard plastic outer shell and soft plastic inner liner. The car arrived without any damage and was well secured. The packaging did not include any extra rotating rolling bearing caps, as well as any exploded parts diagram or instruction booklet. The accuracy of the model seems to be perfect from my research. Luckily, the Cure car has quite a few prototype photos from different angles, so it's pretty easy to compare. Aurora did a good job of making sure all the specific details of the Cure car, as well as the printing and safety striping locations, were all accurate for this specific car. I'm not exactly sure when the car was repainted to the pink paint scheme, but it seems like from the research it was in some time of late 2019. For the paint scheme, obviously the pink is very loud and vibrant, and I think Aurora really captured the essence very well. This car is definitely an eye catcher and looks great on the layout. One small issue I did have was the excess height indicators on the car body ends did have some softening and allowed the pink to bleed through the white. Aurora did a good job on the details, making sure that all the TTX logos and other printing laid over the ribbing perfectly though. The details on the model are absolutely amazing, with every detail that should be there is there and executed very well. Everything is very finely done, and there's a lot of great uses of metal details as well as separately applied details, and there's not really anything I can think on that could be improved on, and even the smaller kind of standard stuff is very well done. My favorite detail is the trainline air hose. I think the use of the silver accent painting on the side of the glad hands as well as the metal unions is absolutely incredible and is taking one of those standard details just to the next level. The operations of the car is fairly good. The car does have some minor weight issues, just being slightly off. I'm not going to take off any points for that since it's within 10% of the NMRA recommended weight, but the wheels are 36-inch metal wheels and do have the 3-point suspension for good tracking. One aspect with the operations of the car is that the couplers are just terrible, and this is kind of the pain in the butt with how many issues I had with these couplers. If there's one thing I would recommend, it would be changing out the couplers as soon as possible. In terms of the couplers, trucks, and wheels, all the trucks did have good printing as well as the rotating roller and bearing caps. The wheels are the 36-inch Aurora brand and have the RP25 contour, so no real issues there. Already know how I feel on the couplers. It's just kind of disheartening on a model that's that well detailed and that expensive and really looks amazing to just kind of fall flat on its face with these garbage couplers. The value of the model is always pretty subjective, with the MSRP going for $60 and street prices closer to $50. The car is obviously very expensive, and thus a high level of details and good qualities are expected all around. And I think Aurora does this pretty well. It just seems that there are a few minor fit and finish issues along the way, and at this price point, you really shouldn't have any sort of that kind of thing. Finally, some other things to touch bases on are the details are great. They have a lot of underbody details that are really hard to see unless you're pretty close to trackside level. I did have several issues with the brake linkage under the trucks getting caught and snagged on different stuff on the layout, and actually on the yellow TTX version had to make some modifications, and just the linkage was getting caught on so many trackside details. Adding up all the scores gives a 91 out of 100 or an A- rating, and when comparing the Aurora 6276 Plate F Boxcar to other recently reviewed models, the Boxcar does end up tied for 17th place, pretty close to the middle of the pack. Overall, I feel like the rating matches the car fairly well, with several points coming from the fault of the couplers. Swapping those over to KD 158s or equivalent scale metal couplers would really help this model, and I think just shipping it with these couplers is just so bad. I cannot stress out how many issues I had with these couplers. I don't think I made a single lap around the layout without having some sort of coupler issue. Overall, once you swap the couplers out, though, the car does become a lot better and would definitely score a little bit higher. It does have a higher MSRP, but that's what we've kind of seen in our hobby, and we're starting to see more higher MSRP cars, and the detail level is just obviously rising with that. And it's just another thing where you have a car that's very finely done and has a lot of separately applied details, and they just make a really good product, and it looks amazing, and then it's going to make a great addition to anyone's layout. I would definitely recommend trying to pick up this car, especially the pink one. It's extremely bright, and it's definitely an eye catcher, and it's only available on the Aurora brand website. So if you're thinking about getting some, I would definitely try and go pick it up. But let me know if you guys are thinking about picking up this car. I know it's a second run, and they just came out with the first run, but this is the early body variant, so there is a slight change from the roof, really, and that's about the only difference. I would definitely try and go ahead and pick up the pink car before it's gone. It seems like one of these cars that's going to go quickly, and once they're gone, they're usually very difficult to pick up. Usually you'll have to pay almost double the MSRP price, but let me know if you guys are going to try and pick up these cars, or if you're going to skip on it, or if you're going to stay away from a few of these smaller issues. But leave a comment with what you're thinking, comment, rate, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.